We're about to take it back.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Tony and Julie on the radio. Dr. Joe's therapy on the radio. The love doctor going live on the radio. Two mics and a mind on the radio. Radio, turned up 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 on the radio. Two mics and a mind. Two mics and a mind. Two mics and a mind. Two mics.
Watch this.
And a mind. Yeah.
All righty. What's going on?
We are here.
Yeah, we be.
We back.
We black.
Sending a special shout out to my homeboy Jordan, one of my number one fans. What's going on, Jordan? I know you out there. I know you watching, man. We back. Go find your mom and dad and tell them that Two Mics is on. Tell them that we back, Jordan. Oh,
he says he's the number one fan.
Oh, yeah. He let me know that every time he see me. He said, I was watching, man. We back, man. He let me know he watched from the beginning. He said he be ready. He ain't one of them fair weather fans who turn on 30, 40 minutes into the show, an hour into the show. He said he catch us in the beginning.
Wow.
Okay. We appreciate Jordan.
Yeah. We definitely appreciate Jordan. Everybody doing all right? Feeling all right?
Listen, we're trying to make it happen.
That's
Man,
right.
I tell you what, I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. I'm doing good.
Yeah,
what more can I say?
You said way too much when you said you're looking. The first thing you said is the truth.
Hey, man. Hey, it's a lot of haters out there. You got
If
haters.
that face come with tissue crumbs.
It's a lot of haters.
Now you get tissue crumbs?
I ain't gonna even ask that question.
Exactly. Now you get tissue crumbs. Right? You gotta wipe it.
No.
But anyway, everybody all right today?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I am tired, but I am here.
Right.
Appreciate the Most High another day. You know, it's a lot of things to complain about, a lot of things to be upset about. But the one thing you got to consider, it's always worse. There's always somebody in a worse condition than you are. It's always somebody going through more than you. So the time you can take out to complain and the time you can take out to gripe, time to sometimes sit back to give thanks and just say, I do. Thank you.
That's right.
Oh, you do. Yeah, sometimes we don't. You know, just want to throw that out there to people out there. We want to put that energy out to them and consider, when you'll recognize that when things go wrong, when things stop going what we call right, and when they do that instant or when something happens, is when we tend to forget what long stretch we had that things kind of weren't to that point or whatever we might deal with at the time. And we tend to forget just how good we've had it, with him allowing things to happen. I had an opportunity this afternoon. I had to go and sit with a cousin I hadn't seen in about 20-some years. They were looking for her to pass at any moment, so I had to go by and see her. I want to go by and support son and everybody and husband and just, let people know you're there because you always consider you'll never know when your time is, and you want to, live your life. And I want to just put that out there as a note of positive energy. Whatever you have in your life going on, whatever you deal with, everybody dealing with something, everybody going through something. So you're not alone. At the same time, you have to know how to embrace when things happen, accept, understand. And then, who complains when things work out for them? Who complains when everything's going right? Oh, man, I'm sick of things working. I'm sick of things happening for me all the time to my favor. Nobody does because we feel like it's owed to us. Until you see other people in other conditions and situations, you don't consider just how fortunate you are. Just like the people in Turkey with the earthquakes, not one, about 4, and not to mention over 9,000 tremors. Can you imagine what a mental state is? The fact that your house has erupted and you don't know when it's going, and it does it again, a week later, and you're dealing with over 9 9,000 tremors. Just let me get you 9,000 times. Eventually, your brain just like, I can't take it anymore. I mean, it's enough to just make a person quit because you don't know when you're at 9,000. So what's the number when it stops?
Mentally.
Wow.
And you just had another earthquake, which means you got to get the tremors from that earthquake now.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that you're afraid to be inside of a building and you're living outside somewhere? People say, I would never want to live outside. When you watch your house or your building fall down, your fear is, I can't be inside of a building. I have to be outside. And then there's nobody can get you and hold you and try to counsel you because it's too many people. And we're being put in a situation today where people just don't consider. Look at the people in LA. They got 8 feet, well, not LA, one part of 8 foot of snow. 8 feet. Can't get to grocery stores, building. How many people are like, oh, I love snow. I like to go see the snow. I like the snow and the snow. And now you're sitting here in the snow and you can't move. You can't get groceries. The roofs are caving in because of the weight of the snow. I mean, it's so when the snow melts, you got to consider the flood.
That's right.
Then you got blizzard in there. Then you got a tornado coming through Texas to Oklahoma. You got blizzards coming down. You just got everything going on. You got trains wrecking. They just had a train wreck overseas in Italy. It was a conductor fault, hit head on, killed 43 people. It's constant. It's a constant that something is always happening. And I say that to say to people, if we don't get our heads together and start looking at, and it's all to get people attention to just say, stop. Like they say on a fire, natural instinct to catch on fire is to take off running. Pat run, but you're picking up the oxygen, which causes it to burn. Now it picks up. Stop, drop, roll. But when you're in a crisis and it happens, it's hard to activate your mind to say, let me go back and think. Because what I'm dealing with is immediate right now. And I'm saying that when things happen, you have to already have somewhat what you call a safety net. You have to already have something where when you hit your bottom or when things happen, you know how far you can go before you crash. Yeah, you need them. That's not to put a safety net there. And I don't think a lot of people consider that. So when things happen, the immediate for the average person is to crash because nothing should happen. Nothing's going to, I don't believe that. Things happen if you don't think positive. People stop being stupid. Things happen because it's a course of life. It's not always just because of mentality. And when you walk with that mentality, when things happen, it pretty much crushes you because you program yourself to believe that things only happen to people that think negative. That's retarded. Things happen to people because it's life. You make adjustments in your life. You set protocols in your life for the prevention of you just totally being annihilated or totally crashing and ending and burning out. What say?
Man, that's true. That's so true right there.
It's funny you say that, Tony. I was reading something about positive thinking can be very negative because you don't come into that there is a reality that there's going to be a point where your life is going to be a chaos. And you have to understand that not everything is positive in this world. And just preparing your mind into reality, especially in the world we're living in, will help us a lot with that mentality and not freezing when those things do happen. So I needed to hear it today. But it's good to hear that other people have it worse than you. And, you know, it's not all about positive thinking all the time. Hey, I'm going through this right now, but it's going to get better. I feel like that's a little bit better than no, let's think positive. You know, like reality is reality. So it's great that you said that, but there were some studies done about what you said. So
like I think with people in general in life, it's just not a lot of things discussed that people start to even think in a manner where you kind of make those preparations. You know, just like in life, people don't want to think about dying, but it is as real as living. If you're living, that's the other alternative to living is dying.
Facts.
And, you know, it's not a great thing. It's not something that people want to deal with, but we deal in a world and in a life where death and life kind of hands in hands. You know, your tragedy is another person. Hey, the greatest day of my life. You know, whether it was, I got the job I always dreamed of. I got my degree. I got my first new car. I bought my first new house. You know, just whatever it is, I just got married, you know, or I just got engaged, the best day of my life.
Right.
And then at the same time, it's somebody who's lost someone or who's losing someone, or even lost themselves. So life is just one of these kind of things that, things are on a constant. And when things happen, instead of crashing and finding every reason to find out or trying to consider you're a bad person because things are happening, maybe you're a person that just need to start to consider your creator and start to consider self and what directions you're taking. How you what you marginalize, what you over dramatize, because there's a lot of things that we do and we kind of self-inflict.
Yep.
I'm a proponent for spirituality, which is ruach for us, that a person should settle themselves to look at where am I, what's my ultimate goal, what's my end game in life, while I'm in it. Some people, I just want to be successful. So once you achieve that and you say, okay, you realize that success is harder work to keep successful as it is to get successful. Whatever you do to get success, you have to do it in order to keep. People say, I just want to get $1 million, so I don't have to do nothing. $1 million will not do anything by itself. $1 million has to be worked. It has to be nurtured. It has to be fertilized. It has to be sown so it can continue to grow. A seed. And I think, we're talking with people. I think it's a good thing for people to actually sit back and examine themselves and examine relationships, and what are the most important things. We live in a world now where you can lie to yourself if you want to. It's springtime. It's time to get ready to build. It's time there, but the world is unraveling. We've never seen it. People don't want to discuss it. Well, it didn't happen to me. It's not over here. It's over there. But everything that we used to see over there is here now.
Yeah.
We're dealing with it here.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all something. You and Dr. Joe. I know Tula, why she came. It was called my sex about it. What did y'all see or hear that you heard from me that made you come and made you consider change?
You want me to go first? You want this first, Dr. Joe?
You can go ahead.
Two things in particular I remember. Thing that caught me is that you were the first pastor who I heard say that a preacher can actually live right and you can't live perfect without committing sin. And you the first one I felt as though I held the actual preacher, the guys in the pulpit, the quote unquote clergy members accountable, that they should be able to practice what they preach. I was always grew up with a subliminal message of, you do your best and God will do the rest. And ain't nobody perfect. So even when the pastor makes mistakes. So when I heard you say that holding actual leadership accountable and that you can be perfect, that caught my attention. I was like, man, so basic, so simple. I never hear anybody say it. The second thing that really caught my attention is when I heard you talked about the dietary law. Basically you were saying that you thought the dietary law was done away with, but then you came to more realization. You went over the scriptures and you showed, well, hey, I was wrong. I want to get it right. Let's make these corrections. I thought that was huge because that's all I ever wanted from a pastor, from a preacher, a member of leadership, is say, hey, if I find something and I'm from learning better, I'll do better, rather than breaking that. So many pastors in the past I've encountered, it's always been, hey, this the way my granddaddy did it, this the way the other pastors did it, this the way the clergy member board, or this the way we coach, and this the way he's done. And it's just like to have that level of humility to say, hey, I learned better, I want to do better. I say, you know what, I can follow that, I can get with that.
I appreciate that.
Okay, for me, I have to say it was accountability. I needed a pastor that told me this is how you live, and there was no excuses. I was Christian since I was a little girl, but I felt like, and to help me to be a woman of Yah, because I felt like a pastor from Christianity, everything was like, if you sin, you're okay. If you do this, you're fine. So I needed accountability, and I felt that from you. This is wrong and this is right. And I've always liked that, it's either wrong or right, because then I know what to do, what to follow, how to live, versus, just saying what I want to hear, to live a happy life. So yeah, I think that's what I was like. This is my pastor because I need somebody to take me accountable for what my behaviors are, for how I should be behaving as a woman. Like in Christianity, I didn't know. It was just like a lot of feminism. So
That's all
yeah,
right.
and you preach that. You preach on how a woman should be behaving themselves, and I needed that.
I appreciate it. I'm kind of one of them, I guess, unorthodox in a sense, kind of leaders for people. I'm not for everybody. I'm not for the faint in heart, but I keep consistency. I'm willing for change. I think the kind of person I am, it speaks to a different audience of people, not from the same, what they say, neck of the woods, you guys, degrees, different fields, and worked in your occupations. But for the type of people I reach and I get aren't the same people like where I grew up from the streets and, jail, gangs, other stuff I've done. But I also at some time reach them, but I reach more people that look at, I hadn't done that, but I think they kind of get there at a point where they kind of respect the difference and they look at, I understand what he's saying, and he's honest on what he's saying. And that's why I want the truth, because a lot of times, we don't deal with truth a lot in life. We deal with mirages, illusions, just like David Copperfield used to be the best musician. He was the man tech. I'm an illusionist. Nothing is real. And he packs out a theater. He packs out anything out because people just want illusions. People go to concerts. They make the stage raise up. They make fireworks kick. They make lights flash. And it's an illusion. And people would rather live an illusion than the truth. And it kind of more feathers, the unselling of people understanding. And I think in today's society where we are, people should look at their spirituality and look at what holds you, what grips you. It doesn't mean that when you have it, you don't still have hurts, you don't still have other things, but there needs to be something that's a barrier that keeps you to where you don't fall to a negative low, where you don't hit, sometimes people let things take them all outside of the course of where we're going. It's just like a river when it cuts. That's the direction it takes until it overspills to something else pours into it. There's more what it is. But for us, we have to stay contained. But that comes with a certain level of knowledge and understanding. So I appreciate y'all guys. Having said all that, what's happening? Listen, I see they starting to come on and comment. Some of them, I think, I know Confederate said post the link. Also, the other 5, we got to get that picture drawn and put Bostic up there. We're gonna put him behind us late. We're gonna put a time on when we come on. We're gonna put a picture of him and put a time stamp over the top, so he should be in about now. With everybody running, and those you guys are so precious to us, especially to us all y'all that listen in, whether you listen in later, that believe it or not, all of us have like tremendous schedules. I mean, slam core life, tremendous. Y'all see Tula quiet. She in school at the same time while operating the show because she want to be here. She want to work. So she's doing 2 things at one time. Then we always doing what we do. It's because we love y'all. We just want to say we all hop y'all. We just want to say how much we care. Oh, yes. The blind part. Please don't sing. Please don't say, yeah, that's it. We just call. Yeah, they do that. You do better.
Let me tell you something. Y'all ain't gonna believe this, but it's a world-renowned pastor. Like he went viral on YouTube. He personally asked me to come one of his sermons and sing and perform at several of his sermons, and he would preach and I would sing, and boy, we just filled the place and sat there.
That's what I mean by these pastors. They just
it's a that man.
Y'all ain't gonna believe it. Y'all ain't gonna believe it. You know what, Tony? You can relate, can't you?
No, I can't. He said I can relate.
You know, Resident Joe. Before you came, I used to sing a whole lot. We ain't have all these singers, rappers that we do now, and I used to sing, and he just he say something about my voice.
You a chance.
Yeah, let me tell you what happened. He used to sing what we call it song, with Shireen. The man was saying, which one he was saying?
There's so many.
Happy at the new job. Hey. It sound like fam. Get money, getting paid. And then he
That was a hit.
should take some time, pour gas down the earth and light it up with him. Can I be saved? We like, no, you cannot do that. But now he did that. Now it wasn't up you to have it. No, it was not. What I don't know. That wasn't.
You remember? I ain't gonna tell you. Gonna come.
Before my eyes closed. That was it. Yeah, he's. Yeah,
There's another one too.
I'm writing this.
Come back and
I will obey.
Yeah.
No, that's different, man. Listen, man. People don't give me my respect, man. I got so many hits out there.
Yeah.
Hits out there on top of hits on top of hits.
Well, we hope the police catch up when you give you
almost 10
tickets.
years ago.
Well, hope the police catch up with you soon and give you tickets when you can stop running them other people. Because you say you got hits after hits.
Let me tell you something. I don't perform them live. A world-renowned pastor had me come and perform live. That had to been big right there. You know, hey, anybody want to do that, Resident Joe? You see what I'm saying?
I mean, I've only heard that one song you have on YouTube.
Well, you know what I do.
Okay, so you never looked at me on YouTube before, Resident Joe?
I heard one song on YouTube and I said, "Wow, it has a good message, but you need to change some words." That's all I said to him. You remember?
Mm-mm.
You remember it's a song for like some little kids about, do you want to go to school?
I saw that.
The
Love Doctor.
Oh, you just sang a song about kids.
Oh, she's talking about another one of my songs. You know what? I got so many. Oh my goodness. You know, it's a lot of hits out there.
I was crazy about.
Oh, you like that one?
It was a song. He
Believe it or not, that song is simplistic, but it has one of the most powerful messages out there.
What song?
It does. It was a good delivery, but the thing is that some words.
You really want you know what song she's talking about? I don't know if I can play it.
Yeah, play it. I'm gonna hear it because I definitely forgot about it.
It's a minute long now.
Well,
you don't gotta play it all.
College ain't shit, school ain't shit, voting ain't shit, church ain't shit, Jesus ain't shit, it's all bullshit. College ain't shit, school ain't shit, voting ain't shit, church ain't shit, Jesus ain't shit, it's all bullshit.
Are you a Christian? Do you believe in Jesus Christ?
Hell no.
Do you love the Lord? Do you want God to change your life?
Hell no.
Does voting really work? Do you pledge allegiance to the American flag?
Hell no.
Do you want to go to college? Do you want to graduate at the top of your class?
Hell no. College ain't shit, school ain't shit, voting ain't shit.
Yeah.
Church ain't shit, Jesus ain't shit, it's all bullshit. College ain't shit, school ain't shit, voting ain't shit. Church ain't shit, Jesus ain't shit, it's all bullshit.
Oh! Yeah, that's the one.
Listen, he put me so bad. I said, I've never heard this before. You know that?
What?
No, I never heard that before. I just heard that. I was like, what in the world?
Somebody said why he made the kid sound like that. I thought the same thing when I heard it.
Church, Jesus, you want the Lord to blink? No. I said, God, I remember that. Man, if you went and took that and played that in somebody, in one of them churches, where they that little children class had, oh my goodness, the preacher come there and ask them questions, and they start singing that song. You're a dead man. You're a dead man. That is crazy.
That's a powerful message. That's
that song a couple of years ago, a couple of years old. Okay. You know what? No, I've never heard it. That's my first time hearing.
Yeah, I know you have seen the t-shirt. Yeah, it's a t-shirt that go with it and all that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Resident Joe.
About 6 years old.
Somebody asked if that a blue Cherokee outside your window.
I don't see any cars outside my window.
Also, you want to tell them about? Did you have to put a check up on the board Wednesday?
I put a check on the board on Wednesday, sir. Yes.
Who's responsible for that? Who caused you them problems?
I believe it was the love doctor.
I'll go with that.
Whoa, how you gonna put me in it? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh my goodness. Here it is. One of our listeners said, please play that at her funeral. They're gonna be sitting there trying to figure out what does that have to do with it? That's a person looking at. I got student loans. What to do? You got student loans.
Wow, somebody else say we need to play that at the high school graduation. Oh,
Man,
that's
Imagine.
Yeah, that'll get us ran out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what though? People don't want to. You know what though? And I know people listen to it. That's it's offensive. It's offensive. You know, in order to get people to change, unfortunately, sometimes there has to be debate. You know, to get, you know, to interact, that's how we communicate. We exchange opinions. And in exchanging opinions, you know, someone had to be questioned and say, okay, let's look at what's facts. So we can move from opinion to facts. The fact of the matter is the whole world is crumbling and people are dying. People are losing their sexuality. Our children, you know, are picking the wrong side. You know, crimes are all-time high, murders. It ain't just police killings. It's people killing people. It's police, you know, being killed. It's just people in general. The world is just a terrible place. And it's really because we banked on, if we educate ourselves, that will make us a better person. If the character, let me say this, the content of the person, if it doesn't change, you know, just like certain movies coming out say, well, change the content in order to make this, you know.
Yeah,
it's the content of people. The character is what it is. The character is the role that you are. So we don't change. You have to change the content, and that's kind of what we have to do with people. We got to wipe the mainframe. The motherboard is just terrible. I mean, everything is just it's bad. But if we can get people to sit down and if we could discuss without the fight and the rhetoric of the hate, and let's consider. Let's not make it about what I've heard all my life, because it couldn't be all your life you're still living. What I've heard for a majority of my life, it doesn't make it right. For a majority of time that the quote unquote Hispanics, the blacks were indigenized by the whites, I mean, that would look right because it went on for so many years. But so we understand that time is not a factor on right in a lot of cases. But I think we should be open to discussion and to see why we do a lot of things we do, and we can see where, you know, the religion in itself. I'll say this, not just Christianity. On a real note, religion in itself have failed us. To be honest, all religions have failed us, and the fact that we've allowed a religion to be created that have become so dominant to, you know, to demonize so many races of people, to spew so much hate. You know, people look at Christianity. Christianity is love. Christianity is not love. Okay, that's the first thing I do is to stop just reciting the same thing. Look at the chaos of your world. Look at the crime in the places that you put Christianity in, and you see that's not actually what it promotes. They say, well, Judaism. I'm not promoting Judaism. I'm promoting a corrective. We need a correctiveness, and that's by going back to look at what's right. Versus what we've been doing. When you look at something that's not correct, I mean, if you put something together and you got 55, is it possible that they sold you a dresser or a table and you got 55 extra screws? You might have 2 or 3. At some you got 10, 15 screws.
Right.
I don't know where this screw goes. You start looking it over and you realize, okay, I can't find it. Go back and look at the direction. Some of them even draw a line to show you the screw and give a screw number. So to keep you from putting, so you say, well, this screw, because you'll screw some things and it'll fit. It'll be because you forcibly did it. Just like a lot of things we've done. And then you'll tend to see it'll wear and it'll start to break down. And that's what happened with society. Christianity was a screw that will forcibly fit. Yeah. And now it's worn and played. Now things are starting to decay. So now it's time to go back and let's get a new one. And let's sit down and let's look at the paperwork and see how we should have put it together, so we can get a better idea on our functionality. We don't know how to function because we don't have the proper, correct information.
Mm-hmm. You know, Tony, you've been saying a lot about cleansing, and I've been thinking about that this whole week, and actually I've been using it for my job.
Doing
And
what now? I'm sorry.
I've been
Not
using
what?
that. You spoke a lot about cleansing. You've been talking a lot about
Yeah.
cleansing, and so I'm picturing this, and I'm using it for my clients, and I'm using it for myself, as like we're us being cups and being used of like fake Jews and being dirty. And I'm like in my head, it's like we got to cleanse, just like you said. We got to clean that cup in order to bring that clean water inside and fill us up with clean stuff. So I've been telling some of my clients that like you got to clean yourself, right? You know, you have a whole bunch of fake stuff from the world and from religions that they taught you. So you got to take all that out so you can, in order to bring the good stuff in. So content, what you said right now reminded me of that cleanse that we have to do. I've been working on that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's beautiful. That beautiful. We got Confederate on here. 48.
Welcome, 48. Welcome.
All the time.
Hey,
Always good to
hello,
see you.
man.
Always too. What's going on?
Can everyone hear me pretty good?
Also, we can also fix y'all. Now, what are those colors back there? I see the green, the orange. That's not the Miami Dolphins, is it?
That's Kenya.
Oh, Kenya.
Mm.
Okay. So repping
Yes,
Kenya.
sir.
I know the Mustang Warrior.
Oh yeah. To Miss Tooley, to the Tony Smith, to the Love Doctor, to Dr. Joe, to Charles Bostic in his absence. This is your neighbor, Confederate State 48, saying hit that like button, hit that subscription, hit that share, and hit that cash out. Also, purchase Barra products, Bella and her two shoes, her two mini shoes, and the infamous book, Womb Management
Come
by
on
yours
now.
truly,
Yes, sir.
the Love Doctor.
That's right.
We want to showcase all our talent that we have in our community and be supportive to one another, which I don't think that we don't do enough of. Speaking from my personal perspective. There was a question that was asked earlier tonight that what caused individuals to tune in to specifically the Way of Yah, Pastor Tony Smith. And it was something that he always would say coming on, we're here to collect the debt. And when you would say that, and you would say, nobody's getting by. And then you would say, how do we have to come in, brethren? We have to come in straight by the door.
Yeah.
And that really, really captivated me. And then to the audience that you and you still do. I don't want to speak in the past tense that you reach to, a large array of people from all walks of life. You address issues that was taboo in the church, the traditional church. And another thing you would say, before I shove a book in your face, we need to meet you where you are, see where you are in life. And, like you say, when you deal in one of your businesses, you ask people, what are they trying to do? And, and I was looking for purpose myself, saying, what can I do to better myself? Because I always looked at people in the Bible as fictitious characters that you couldn't possibly measure up, to what they contributed to society, in their time and to today. And then and you pointed out character flaws in our what they call Bible characters, and you still show that they made impact, and you use real life situations in real time to show us that we could live a clean, and Kadash life.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that's something that we got a lot of work to do to fix our people, to fix the nation. I know people look at, it's so far gone. Why? It don't make sense to just give up and just let it keep going. We see it's a disaster, do something. If the house is flooded, it don't mean I don't cut the water off and say, well, it's flooded anyway. Cut the water off. Maybe that might make the little difference so the water dissipate. It can't dissipate. Continue to keep adding. That's why things don't change with people. Just like when Resident Joe was talking about, cleansing, detoxifying, going in and getting rid of things that that you don't need. You'll be surprised how many things that we clean and attach ourselves to that actually hurt us. Like you'll tell people like health things, and they'll say, "Oh man, oh, I can't give that up. Man, I love that. But that's part of your problem.
Right.
That doesn't just connect the food, it connect the other things we do as well. You have to start looking at benefits of what you do, purpose, not just doing
Right.
something because it's available, it's allowed. Got to be a
Right.
purpose to it. You know what I'm saying? It got to be a purpose. Just like, you read in the, Sefer, when he told Michelle, who they'll call Paul, told Timotheus, whose name is Barnabas, born of Nabim,
Mm-hmm.
born of Nabal. He told him about drink no longer water. Y'all remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
told him
why?
to drink a little yayin
He told him,
for the stomach's sake.
So it's a purpose. You see what I'm saying? Some
That's
people,
right.
I drink. The Bible said drink. You found something that you want to do, but you don't have a purpose to it. He
Right.
told me use it because it can be used for medicine. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? If you don't learn how to use things, then things will wind up using you, like money, people. You got to know how. I
Right.
ain't talking about using people to get something out of them, but everything that you're given, it has its source. These are all sources. Money. These are things that allow you to get to other sources. These are things that used in travel. You have to pay your fare, pay your way. So you learn how to use these things. They work as an energy source and a force.
Yeah,
If I'm saying,
yeah.
if I have money, I can pay somebody to take me if I don't have it. So it becomes an energy force. You know what I'm saying? It provides me to get me to places and get me to go. Relationships with people and right people allow you to grow and go. Those are energy sources. And people don't know how to use those forces. Just like when you take food in because it's an energy source for you, right? Some food you say, man, you know what I want to do? I just want to lay down and go to sleep. So you got no benefit from it. Food should be an energy to you.
Right.
But the way we do things, that's why I want to hurt us. It's a fuel. Nobody filled the car to just a party. You fill up because I'm setting it up for travel to go.
Right.
So these are things we start learning in life. And my end is I like to see people, period, white, black, everybody, especially for people of color, simply because we've never been taught to, we've been taught at. We get a lot of criticism. I'm a critic of our people, but at the same time, I like to give people information on
Yeah.
looking at things differently. You know what I'm saying? You can always look at the negative of a thing, but take the negative and say, if it gets me to consider, if it allows me to make adjustments that make me better, then let me ask you this, is it really a bad thing?
Right.
Because before it happened, I wasn't considering the situation. But certain things that happen cause you to think more, cause you to become more critical of actions. So is the thing that might put you in a depression or you might have you down, is it really a bad thing if it moves you to becoming more of a positive person into a direction that betters you? That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Positively.
There was something that I was able to look into earlier today, and I kind of want to get you guys' take on it. I did not know that Martin Luther King's mother was a senior. He was the junior to his mother. I didn't actually know that.
Say that again.
Dr. Martin Luther King,
Interesting.
his mother was the senior and not his father. I did not know that.
What do you mean?
Dr.
Be more
Martin.
specific when you say she was the senior. What do you mean?
Okay, well, we all know that she was assassinated in Atlanta.
His grandma.
She was, well, right, his grandmother. Well, she was killed, killed, and a deacon in Ebenezer Baptist Church in 1974, in Atlanta, for the matter of fact. And the point I'm getting at is that what is his name? Greenblatt. What's his first name? The founder of the ADL. Well, he's an advocate for defamation when it comes to Jews and people that are, discriminated against, for the lack of a better term. So there was an incident back in New Jersey about, I think, 2019, that a African American guy, he went into a kosher market and he shot up a couple people and killed them. And he got on CNN and he blamed the Black Hebrew Israelites as being the perpetrators of that crime. And then he went on, he went on to blame the quote unquote black Hebrew Israelites for, you know, anything that takes place to what you call them Jews, perpetuated by people of color, and he associate them typically with the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. My question is, if he's going to have an organization, let's just be fair. When it comes to us, and us being targeted, like Sandra Bland, where was the ADL in that? Where was he with Trayvon Martin? What was his stance on Trayvon Martin? What was his stance on Jordan Davis? And I just, like you were saying, you reach all walks of life, and you don't just single out, one individual, but the plight of our people. And by him being a self-proclaimed Jew, I think he's a little biased when it comes to the Jewish population. That's the point I was trying to make. And that when Dr. Martin Luther King Sr. was killed, she was killed allegedly, according to the Ashkenazi Jewish, sect and the ADL, that she was killed by a quote unquote black Hebrew Israelite, which was absolutely not true.
Oh, they try to say she was killed by Hebrew Israelite.
Correct.
I remember his grandmother being shot while she was playing in Oregon, apparently at the church in Atlanta. I remember. It wasn't. I mean, I was living then, 74. I think I was in like the first grade or something like that. Maybe second grade, somewhere in there. But anyway, I remember somewhat of that being a discussion about it. But I don't remember a lot of details about it. A lot of times, a lot of our stuff is not, discussed in depth about things that happen. And people look at why I keep what they call beating a dead horse. You don't beat a dead horse, you beating a horse that get up and run. That's what we're trying to do now. Get some clear facts on what's going on so we know how to proceed further. And I think it's good to go back over things historically, things that happened to us, to make sure we're not, more or less just kind of recycling. And I think for the so-called Negro, the truth told, he's basically recycling his life, because he's still in the same point. I mean, we had police killing in the 60s, 70s, in the 50s, the 40s, the 20s, the 1800s. And, it was purposely racist. The people will say, well, why y'all make it racist when they kill? Because it is racist when they kill them. That's the problem.
Right.
It's because of racism. And, it wouldn't be bad to be a racist, because I think everybody in a sense should be a racist. I think everybody should feel that their race is superior. Think about it. The human race. Do the animals control us? We control them. The trees, we control them. So I think the human race in itself is superior. It's just we have to learn that there are different ideas that we can all take from one another, regardless of our colors, our shapes, our looks, our eye dimension. That's the only thing I think with people, with man, he needs to learn to adjust to. Acceptance of others comes with accepting oneself and one's creator. I don't see other people as a threat, from intellect or anything like that. A person with a gun that looks to do damage to you is a threat. But we should all learn to embrace and accept one another.
Yeah. And after all, I'm sorry, Love Doctor. After all, they coined the phrase race. After all, the race is a competition, whether you look at it or not. Yeah. And so, I mean, they could have used a better choice of words than saying the race. We're all in some type of race. I remember back in the 80s, or even the 70s, there was a song that Bob Marley, he sung called Rat Race. Oh, what a rat race. Oh, what a rat race that we're in, So, I mean, go figure. They coined the phrase race. So, I mean, letting me know that it's a form of competition. And everybody should take pride in their ethnicity, and and to empower their people without infringing on another person's rights to live and to what they call, quote unquote, the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness.
You know, it's amazing they can do it for the Olympics. They can come together and each country get a chance to display their talents from speed to throwing to pole jumping to hurdles to weights to wrestling to gymnastics, you know, swimming. It gives you opportunity skiing just to say, okay, who won? And nobody, it's not a war after. But unfortunately,
Right.
like in life, you have those that cheat, that'll take the drugs and do alternative things and lie or lie about their age, you know, from China supposedly being accused of passing off
Right.
20-some-year-old women for 14-year-olds in order to, you know, to beat other. But I mean, but that's life. People are
Right.
afraid to compete just them because they don't want to know that there's someone better than them. You in life, it's always somebody that can do something better than you. And the best person of all is somebody who might have beat you out. You might be the person to beat out the person that actually won overall. So we all have unique talents. It's just a person learning what their talent or what their ability is and homing in and just staying with that. Stop making what your ability, your gift is, you know, somebody else's. You know, that's where the problem falls. So that's why look at like with rappers. A lot of time people always try to come out and they try to be different, but the different that they try to display is the same act we've seen other people do. So now they all
Right.
become one another and ready to kill one another because people don't learn acceptance. You're you, your ability, your style is what it is. I'm me, my ability, my style is what it is. We just learn to make the best. We can't all be the top on top of the pyramid, otherwise we're gonna flip it over and put one on the bottom. But we know how that's gonna work. We flip the pyramid over.
Right.
So it work better when you know if you watch how it go and it's still standing against the storms and everything. If you take it and flip it over upside down, guess what happens? It's gonna crash, it's gonna fall, it's gonna burst. So I think people need to have conversation, every race and people in general with religion and other things we face and we do. So we can get to a point to where let's be neutral or be to a point where we ain't gotta kill each other, we can exist. The world is unraveling. These are conversations we done tried the guns and the bombs. While the world is unraveling from the snow to the floods to the droughts. I mean, have y'all seen France? France is
I've heard a little bit about.
drought. Europe has, I'm talking about drought, and they hadn't even hit summer yet. This
Right.
is going to kill them. It's going to kill a lot. I'm talking about the stuff is like clay. I'm talking about the rivers are drying out. This thing is, and you dropping bombs. You shooting gunfire, and this stuff is just exploding in buildings. And look, when you hit a building, what about when you hit these buildings, people who got chemicals in their house, cleaning
Right.
chemicals, this stuff just been exposed and going, and the world is unraveling. It's like, is anybody thinking? Is this really a time we need to drop bombs and blow up and hit nuclear buildings? And fortunately, it's just leaking, but it's not too critically dangerous. On top of everything we're dealing with, it's like, what does it take for man to stop and say, man, what are we doing?
Right.
We dying and we adding death on top of dying. Resident Joe, are you working on the chat?
Yes.
Resident
Yeah, she working on the chat. I can see. Listen, I see that hesitation come. Is that a gun?
Dr. Joe. Dr. Joe.
Yes, sir.
By this week being Teen Mental Health Week, what are your thoughts on teen mental health and what could be done as not only parents but mentors and adults? What could they do to facilitate teens into, getting them away from social media and different type of media platforms that kind of, don't give young people a glimmer of hope, because it's obvious that young people struggle with everyday problems too. It may not be bills and, losing a job, but they have their own issues as teens, which causes them to pick up a gun and kill someone or kill themselves or take drugs or sell their bodies and self-mutilate themselves. So what is your thought on that? What us as adults can do to help, the teens, not just being from a parent standpoint, but just being an adult?
That's a wonderful question. I'm actually working with teens in particular right now, and I have noticed the tremendous change in the mentality of teens. And when I mean mentality, I mean depression and anxieties. I'm dealing with one right now that decided to join a gang. and it's because his father was killed right in front of him at 13. I could have looked at him as a gang member, but then you have to really see what's behind that gang member, right? Or
Right.
something must have happened there. So sitting down with him, right? He has caseworkers, social workers. Now somebody clinical has to analyze what got him there. So I feel like us mentors as adults be responsible, right? We have a lot of irresponsible adults. I feel like becoming responsible adults will help our teenagers become better teenagers. Because we're not seeing what's getting them where they are right now. So analyzing them and sitting down with them and listening to them and hearing what they have to say will make a big difference. And overall understanding them, I do believe that they have kids. I believe teens are kids to me. They need regulations. They need rules. They're craving regulations. They're crying out loud for education and regulations and rules at home. So I think
Right.
that's something that, every child needs some sort of discipline. I mean, as adults, we need discipline. We are a
Right.
mess when we don't have discipline. So when we don't teach our teens or our little kids discipline, we're a whole mess as adults. So I feel like eventually teaching, even if you're just a mentor, teach this child how to be disciplined in life. What do they have to do to get where they want to get, right? You are a gang member, but let's start somewhere. Let's be disciplined in life so
Right.
that we can get somewhere other than where you are right now. So I think understanding them and teach them disciplined to help them get where they want to get, I think is something that will help our teenagers a lot. And as mentors and as adults, we should be responsible enough to teach these kids this stuff because the world is definitely not teaching them. It's a mess. It's a chaos.
Right. With this caveat right here, Miss Tooley, this question would be for you, ma'am. What she just said about mentoring the teens. Now there's a unofficial like 3 second to 5 second rule that you can't look at a teen or a male figure for too long without them getting aggressive or saying, "Hey, what you looking at?" How do you, in your opinion, how would you approach a situation when we have that type of hostility towards the generations between adults and teens?
She's still in class. I don't know if she gonna
Oh,
answer.
I'm sorry. I can pass that along to perhaps one of you, two, three.
So I would say it's ultimately, they say that all problems are solved through the process of questions and answers. So whatever the conflict is, it always begins ultimately with a conversation in terms of question and answer. So whatever the situation is, whatever the you know age limit or whatever the case may be, I guess it all starts with a conversation through the process of question and answers. The more and more we talk about things, the more awareness become, the more information, advice on how to deal, how to overcome and things like that to reach a lot of younger people. Oftentimes, me as a younger person myself, I think I might be one of the youngest people on this platform. It's just a lot of stuff that we,
How old are
don't
you?
know as a young person, so it's more and more
How old
about
are you?
educating us more and more. Was it a hater out there? Was it a hater?
How old are you?
There you
No,
go.
you're lying because
Thank
you're
you.
not.
I know he's not. It just Joe beat you out.
Look how young I am.
uh,
That's
He
but
was
Yeah,
playing.
continue.
we
Oh
went to
no,
high
He
no.
was
school
playing.
together.
yeah.
She went to high school together. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I
No.
think. All problems are solved through the process of question and answers, which is really good. And something that y'all brought up earlier, y'all talking about basically racism and the different things of that nature, race superiority, stuff like that. One
Mhm.
thing that kind of caught my attention, I was actually looking at a white person. Whenever white people speak on racism, I observe it a little more because I understand, the quote unquote non-white person's perspective of racism, but it always tends to catch my interest whenever I hear the the perspective of someone who is white and how they share their thoughts on racism. And being that you talked about mental awareness, there's an actual therapist where she had an experiment on racism, and it's a social experiment that she actually went on Oprah Winfrey show and did. I want to just take a brief moment, share this with y'all. It's a few minutes long. Take a look at this clip and let me know what you think.
Today's audience was separated into two groups. Not on the color of their skin were they separated when they arrived. They were separated based on the color of their eyes. But they have no idea that they were separated. What we did was treat each group differently, discriminating against the people who have blue eyes, catering to those people with brown eyes.
Come on. Look all your eyes. Blue, over there. Put it up. No. Over there. Blue, over there.
The blue-eyed people were pulled out of line, told to put on a green collar and wait outside. When the brown-eyed people arrived, they were told to step to the front of the line. Audience members with brown eyes were allowed to enjoy coffee and donuts. The blue-eyed group became upset when they saw the brown-eyed people were being seated first.
What are they doing in there?
Diversity expert Jane Elliott helped set up the experiment.
I've been a teacher for 25 years in the public, private, and parochial schools in this country, and I have seen what brown-eyed people have done as compared to what blue-eyed people do. And it's perfectly obvious. And if I didn't believe it before this morning, you should have been here this morning when we brought these people in here.
Feeling discriminated against, the blue-eyed audience members were visibly upset.
She was rude to us, all of us. Yelled at us, called us names, pushed us aside. She was rude.
Just want to say, why doesn't Jane have a green collar on? She's got blue eyes.
Because I've learned to act brown-eyed. I have a brown-eyed husband and 3 brown-eyed children.
Why did you?
And the message in this room is act brown-eyed and you too can take off your collar. Act intelligently and you too won't lose your collar. None of you have acted intelligently yet.
It wasn't long before the brown-eyed people bought into the idea that they were superior.
You people, look, it is... People, I had a girlfriend in school who was blue-eyed. She was so stupid. She was always copying off of my papers. These people were so rude and so noisy today, we couldn't hear ourselves even talk. It was ridiculous.
Eventually, the audience figured out the show was really about race. Now, he was so angry, he took off his collar way on early.
How many of you people of color can take off the collar that we have put on you? How many of you can take off your color? But if a black male refused to follow your orders or your husband's orders or your father's orders on the street, you would not see that as being highly principled. You would see him as being an uppity nigger.
Well, we can see where this is going. She's saying that everybody has racism in them. It's not really about the eye. She's trying to teach about racism. But she can't get away from the fact that God created the races and you are going to be different.
Now, what I want to do, I just want to pause it real quick. Think about this. This is in 1992 where she actually, y'all heard what she just said? The word just came out of her mouth?
Yes.
What do y'all think about that perspective on what she was saying and how graphic it was?
I mean, I didn't have a problem with it because of the way it was used. She was trying to express what you don't, I understand what she was trying to do. I say this. I think in the way she did it, I think she should have came off a little easier to explain it. Because what she's trying to do is what they try to do to us. When a person is upset and they feel like they've been done wrong, don't think they're going to listen to your rationality. So the experiment was a good experiment. But you got to remember, if I'm pissed and I'm upset because I feel like you were yelling at me, I'm not going to hear you trying to tell me, oh, it was an experiment I'm trying to teach you. But then you say, y'all still ain't right. You still aren't. And I understand she wants them to understand what people of color and other, races have experienced at the hands of whites. But you have to do it in a way to where you can get them to listen. You know what I'm saying? Now she put them in where we are. Just like the police, they said, well, why don't you just listen to police trying to, you've offended me. So me, like they'll say, this black guy, he wound up fighting the police. It's because that black guy felt like he or she, I was pushed into a corner not to be respected. So although what they said, they was telling you right, it's how we first engaged. So I think the experiment was needful. I just think when it came out her explaining to them, she should have taught from and explained her views of how she saw things and what led her to that encounter. You just can't take me to an experiment and jump and say, okay, all of you are wrong, all white people in the sense. You got to bring me to a conclusion of, listen, I'm white. This is what I learned. This is how I view things. And when you actually deal with them and understand the situation of people of color, and you explain that way to where somebody says, okay, all right, you're talking to me and not telling me how wrong I am. Because I'm still pissed about you saying something about my eyes. You see someone say they're still there. People don't just leave certain spots unless you can grasp and grab them and say, okay, let me comfort you into this. Let me explain to you why I did this. And I want you to see if you can see how another race can feel. But this is something you always got to remember too. Those whites, no doubt who she chose, don't see themselves doing that. So your experiment is not beneficial. If I don't feel like I've done that, like he said, God made races. Why you think he made them? Because it's different. Instead of he made different colors. You know what I'm saying? He allowed all of us to show, just like flowers. You can get yellow roses, red roses, white roses, lavender roses, because when you put them all together, what they said, they're beautiful. So carnations, you know what I'm saying? So color is not just with man, for man to act as though he's retarded, and yet you don't see the yellow flower fight the blue flower with the red flower. It's just man doesn't learn. He hadn't learned to accept. He put these colors in life, and they all work together. None take away from the other. Certain colors actually edify other colors.
Yeah.
And show the brilliance and all. So you just gotta, to me, the psychosis of how she tried to do it, she more or less angered the audience she should have been targeted to get them to see it different than getting them to say, okay, I see now where we at. What you think, Mr. Joe?
I don't know. I wasn't a fond of that experiment. I think it was a good message where what society leads you to think is the best is great, but I don't think it's not comparable. Comparing somebody of brown eyes with blue eyes with, a brown person and a white person, it's more of what the Black community has experienced rather than what they look like. So it was a cool experiment, but I don't know if it was deep enough to help understand the reality of what people are going through.
So let's take a minute. It's about one more minute towards the end of where she goes into a little bit more detail. Let's take a minute, a little look at it, and
Can't
see
help
what ends up happening.
God
to be like
created
that.
one race, the human race, and human beings created racism.
We caught up with the mastermind behind the eye color test. Jane Elliott is her name, 22 years later.
I loved teaching. I started the blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise because Martin Luther King Jr. had been one of our heroes of the month in February in my third grade classroom, and he was dead at the hands of an assassin. I hate to talk about this because every time I talk about it, I remember how it felt that day. I was going to have to go into my classroom and explain to my students why the adults in this country had allowed somebody to kill hope. Because Martin Luther King, for me, was hope for this country. I decided that the next day I was going to do what Hitler did. I was going to pick out a group of people on the basis of a physical characteristic over which they had no control, separate them according to the color of their eyes, treat one group badly and treat the other group very well, and see what would happen. Eye color and skin color are caused by the same chemical, melanin. There is no logic in judging people by the amount of a chemical in their skin. Pigmentation should have nothing to do with how you treat another person, but unfortunately it does. Give me a child at the age of 8, let me do that exercise, and that child is changed forever.
There it is. Just wanted to share that perspective with you, or whatever. Basically, her logic and her inspiration behind doing what it is she does. It definitely does seem extreme. Does it work? Doesn't it work? I really don't know. Confederate 48, what you say?
Well, my opinion on it was a shallow experiment, only because she used eye color when she could have used a different human characteristic, because you're not going to be able to find typically African Americans or people of color with blue eyes to make it seem as though, to throw off, you know what I'm saying, to throw off the participants. It was obvious that it was to show Caucasians their need for better treatment opposed to lesser treatment based on their category, whites. You see what I'm saying? That white people with blue eyes are more superior to other white people. It didn't necessarily categorize racism. It just showed about one white person being better than another white person.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
It's a
another
cool
video
concept.
too. What's that, Sweetie?
I feel like it's a cool concept, but it's not deep enough to explain what
Right,
the
it was
reality
shallow.
of what's happening. And like you said, Raha, like if when you target a certain group of people, it just closes people up. Like they probably didn't even pay attention to the whole message.
I agree. I agree. And you know, and I'll say this: we all try to find ways to express ourselves. Some people do it with hair color, dyeing it, you know, particular clothes, earrings, piercing, skin tattoos. I mean, people do it. Or wear name brand clothing or off brand clothing that does something because people want to be, you know, stand out. It's not to, you know, to be distinctive and want to be seen and want to kind of be recognized, you know. And I think what she wanted to, you know, get across is a good message. It's just, I guess, the way you're looking at your target of people that look like you got to explain that people. If you look like them, do you understand how they think? Like when I speak to people, I know how I feel like I know how we think on a, you know, on an average somewhat. With doing that, if she knows and she recognizes it's a problem, what would it have taken for you? What did it take for you to get it? And since you got it, how do you dispense that back to your people where you become effective versus they wouldn't get a word out, you're critical of them quick, you know? And then you ask yourself another thing, honestly. I mean, I'm almost inclined to believe that the show was rigged. I couldn't imagine white people staying there at a show where you treated like that. I just don't, I don't know. It's no play. It ain't about me being white or black. I ain't going nowhere. And you saying, letting me out the way sideways. It ain't happening. I'm not going. I'm not interested. Take the open shore, ram it in your crevice and make it come out your nose. There's no way that I believe that white people sat here, especially when you distinctly white. Like I said, she was rude to me. She was what? It's like, why would I be accepting that? But then this is what I say. Maybe I'm red because I'm still in America. Why would I stay somewhere where people talk to me any kind of, and I'm looking at them saying that's foolish. But then I had to look at, wow, Tony Smith. You just call yourself a fool because you sitting somewhere where you disrespected, where you're not being acknowledged. You watch other people go before you, and you being placed somewhere versus choices. Like people cut a lot of time. These are choices. No, you were placed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Wow. Just like okay, people talking about you have your upper class and your lower class. Okay, you had on the slave ship. Who did the slaves get to pick that out? Did they get to walk through the boat and say, I want to be middle class? I want to be the big. Right. I want no. They always place you. As soon as you can come into grips with that, they've seen you through programming from middle school, from elementary before they get you. Now, before they let you in elementary, they have prescribed pre-K. This is the pre-regimen of teaching you. Elementary is a definition for principles. These are elementary as a code. So they give you code. You're learning codes. I'm starting you off with letters. I'm teaching you letters and sounds. I'm teaching you behaviors, how to get in line and march. Stop. Go to assigned desk. Don't do anything till I tell you to pick it up. So you're constantly going through a programming system. You know what I'm saying? Then they setting you up. So here they can determine I got to have some go to college because universities need money. You know what I'm saying? They need right. Experiments. I got to have something to go to prison because prisons are being built and it's useless that nobody's going to fund prisons if people are not going. I got to have homosexuality. I got to have all these different. I got to have all these different behaviors. School is what's putting the people out here, whether they drop out or continue. Think about it. What do we all have in common? We have all gone to school.
Yep.
So they start you off young, programming to set you up. I can't have everybody in college. If everybody goes to college and get a degree, who's going to pick up the trash? Do you understand? Listen, schools are an experiment. Look at the word academics. It is theoretical. A lot of these things are not really what they are. These teachers they don't even realize they know these teachers. They're testing these teachers, they know where to put them at. None of these teachers are sneaking through and getting white schools where they matriculate well. They're placing them as well. They're making sure they get a certain number of. You gotta have failing schools. I need people in Wendy's. I need people who go and stock in the back of Kroger's. Okay, schools are the only place to get them started.
Mm-hmm.
How do you meet gangs? These are kids that have gone to school and dropped out of school or continued through school. How do kids get introduced to drugs? Through school, academics. What does it tell academics? A teacher, a scholar in college or institution of higher learning. That's all they're going to tell us? Oh, it's classical Latin, Old English. So you have to look at other words. Then what does it tell? That's all they tell them? Okay. These are your words? Come on down, send it to. Oh my goodness. Old English, what's that? How you pronounce that?
Man, if you want me to let you down that, you in bad shape. Basically,
You said
we know the ancient philosophers of the school of Plato.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Classical Latin academicus.
Plato. And you know what's interesting, we deal with all these different things. Just like when these people learn the Greek, they use all these titles, and you know a lot of these things. I forgot that I might be Kappa. I can't remember. Was it Kappa? One of them that stand for, and it tells them about how philosophy. I forgot 5. It's the 5. Tell them how philosophy is the way of life. The Greeks believed that. These philosophers, they had them even in the written days of during Shaul. They called Paul. They talk about how certain philosophers, the Epicurean, how these people, Stoics, these people have. It's so many people that's been entangled in our history. That's in Greek history. You know what I'm saying? The Latin history, Caesar, the different Caesars. We ran across so many of these people in our past. That so-called Alexander the Great. Y'all understand how many times we've crossed paths with all these people? With all these different people and all these different cultures. This is why we're so mangled. Because we have so many different doctrines and to try to root back the way everybody can root back the way they belong except us. Y'all understand that?
Mm-hmm.
When, no doubt, Resident Joe can root back to Spain, but then before Spain conquered and brought out people and mixed us all, these different races and make people different. Everybody stemmed from one continent. We know that much.
Right.
And they all stem from one place. These people came in, they played the creator and mixed people and mingled people and changed people, and now everybody's fighting one another except them.
Yep.
They're the hero. They're the heroes when in reality it was the complete opposite.
Yes. And speaking of those continents and all, and the geography and the different locations and the continents, what Jane Elliott made an attempt to do is she made the attempt to approach racism from a different perspective. Because like you said, that first perspective that you guys saw on the Oprah show, it caused a little more confusion. It might not have been as beneficial. But what she did is she tried to rethink it. So she tried a different approach. Take a look at this approach and let me know what you guys think about this.
Ever seen a map that looked like this before? How many of you have ever seen this map?
Seen that map?
Yeah. Isn't this the map that you use K through 16 in the United States of America? Now, folks, look at this map. According to your social studies teacher, what is the equator?
Right,
an imaginary line where?
Yeah.
Around the center of the earth. Then if this map is correct, then the equator must be here, and Chicago has a tropical climate. Now, folks, this is the map that we use in the schools. Look where the United States is, in the middle of the world, right? Now, here's the USSR, which is no more, of course, Mongolia, China, Africa, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Now, look over here. USSR, Mongolia, China, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Two Indias here. We have 2 Indias. Did you know that? Now, people, this is a flat-out lie. Look at the size of Greenland and the size of South America. According to your social studies teachers, what were continents? Largest land masses on the face of the earth, right? Now, do you know the continents? Africa, Asia, Australia, Antarctica, Europe, North America, and South America. Did I say Greenland? Well, Greenland isn't a continent, but it's a huge landmass according to this map, right? The map is a flat-out lie, people. If you read the legend on the map, here it says, in fact, South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland. Now, look at this map. The equator on this map is down here. all the white countries are larger than they should be, and all the countries of people of color are smaller than they should be. This is a visual image that teaches children a lie. In order to make this map anywhere near accurate, you have to take this over here and put it here like this. Now, well, can somebody hold that? Can you hold that down there, somebody? Are you a somebody?
Sally is a somebody.
Okay,
yeah.
Sally's a somebody. There. Now, take a look at the difference. Does that give you a different visual image of the importance of the United States? People, the way you use things like this, teaching aids like this, are what make you and I racist. We were taught that this is the way the world looks. It's a flat out lie. How could a parent not be a racist? How could a white parent not be a racist in a situation?
All artists. What do y'all think about that particular perspective now?
We're finished. I
She
mean,
used a geographical map to try to explain racism. You think
You
that way
somebody?
was a little more effective? What say you? What you say, Tony? What you say, Dr. Joe?
I didn't like when she was like, I used somebody and that person was black. So let's start by there.
Oprah say she's somebody.
Right.
We got
it. I pay attention to these details. I don't like her. I'm playing. It's good concepts. I mean, this world is a lie. I feel like it's just simple as that.
I just want
I was gonna say to him.
I just want to give Oprah a hand because this was not about men bashing. This was the episode that was
That's about tongue licking. You ain't see no man. She had all women. All them women got a free 8 before they live now. They say they got a free 8. They got a free 8. You know, good and well. Oprah love them women down. I sent on a hot tell my mom like, there's plenty of them I can go there and I can kiss on. But anyway, I mean, again, I think then she used the map to say this is why you racist white people. I don't agree with that concept. And I think, you know, for her to reach her own people. I mean, if a person black said that, you'll be saying it out of not all knowledge, but out of hate and because of what happened. She speaks from a person, like she speaks like a person that, you know, that's of color, that has the hate toward them, to where because the maps are wrong, this made you a racist. I wouldn't say that psychosis. That wouldn't be logical. Because a lot of people don't know what size things are and whatsoever. They just never looked at it since school. Never, and even though they did, they just didn't pay attention. So that wouldn't play a part of why a person is racist system. Just like the school system. Now she's blaming the maps being made, but you got to go back. Remember, I was just talking about earlier. Schools shape the mind. The reason why they have a problem, they see kids like who won't sit down, who won't stand there, who won't shut up. This is gonna be a person that's gonna fight the system, like me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look at it, and it formulated from there, and they knew that, and they started your record of, I gotta classify you and get you to jail. I gotta get you over here, so you'll be a person people won't see and acknowledge. But the creator had a different path, and I'm just being honest on why things happen. It's the school system. Because kids, you know, they say, well, kids don't look at color, they don't, but they need to stop and know, but then look at how you work together. You know what I'm saying? Some things strike them and other people get them, and it's the wrong time. You got to start them young to teach them. I never taught my kids that they were better than white people. And white people, I believe my wife now, we put a life in front of them to where they could see certain things happen, but never put anything in them discriminatory to, you know, hate whites or anybody else of that other ethnic group. Just, I think for the average so-called black, it just don't have that kind of time and energy. You tell them about a system, you tell them to stay away from, we'll say, them crackers, stay away from him, but you're not teaching, you know, don't let them crackers down hem you up now. We might say things, we don't teach, don't all white people. That's not a given. I'm sure it is some, and it'll be because of experience. But at the same time, I think it leaves a lot of you know, knowledge that you need to go along with that. Because I teach and I believe that there's good in every race. I think the person that doesn't say anything to them when you know that's a problem with your people, I think that you are more detrimental to them. Then you use them and allow them to spew their hate and their destruction. You know, just like the white officer that sat back and say, you know, I ain't have nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's more criminal. You should have, because you're bad. And more than that, I would charge you more for your humanity. I wouldn't put on the jaw is to deflate. You tell me as a human being, I don't owe Love Doctor a certain amount of responsibility, a certain amount of, as a human being. I wouldn't charge. I said, neglect the office. You neglected to be human, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
And when you neglect to be human, that's the worst tragedy. Blank a office, blank a badge. That don't make you have a heart and care for people.
Right.
We need to start charging people for being less than human, so that make people understand how to get dignified. See, we don't put enough emphasis on response. We put enough responsibility, just like Resident George. She did something to love Dr. Tula, myself, best of her job. They'll get her for oath of office. Well, what about her oath of being a human being? Once you're in the race, this ain't something you agree to, you hear, you have to do it. We have to tell you, it's a must. You can't opt out of being a human. You got what I'm saying? And we got to teach people, enforce the importance of what humans do. This is a human natural attribute. If I saw a woman, white, red, green, yellow, laying on the ground and she injured, it's my human obligation to call to get help if I can't render it. That's why I'm not a professional. I'm not, but I'll call and I'll wait till somebody come to make sure nothing happens further than what it is. I don't want to get my hands. I don't want to get sued. I owe you at least what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to start teaching. This is your obligation. You can't opt out of it unless you die.
Mm-hmm.
If you living, you owe every man, every boy, every girl. You owe them to be human. Human is the respect. Human is the care. Human is the love. And whatever you don't want, don't do it to nobody else. That's human.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just genuine, just human law. Everybody can obey them. Everybody can take them.
Man,
Got something?
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, that's really something. It's really something, but you definitely made a point on that right there. Absolutely agreed.
What about that other video we got of Ann Coulter? I'm sending it in the other trip.
So I got sent a bunch of videos. I got about 3 or 4 videos. I'm not sure which is which because I haven't watched any of them. So I could just click on random links if you want me to. Or you could let me know which one in particular you want me to share next.
I want to know what you're saying, so go ahead and let it roll. Let the chips fall where they may.
All right. Well, what I see is one right here from Hollywood Unlocked. This right here is a video that Resident Joe shared. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up on the screen, Resident Joe. I haven't really read the article or anything. If you want to take us through it, then that'll be awesome. So here we go.
If you can play the video if you can please play the video in the middle of the article, that would say the whole article. Since we are in like mental health.
Oh, there's a video. Where's the video?
Yeah,
the video's down
in the middle,
right here,
right there. Right.
All right, here we go.
Hi, my name's Knox Zajac. I'm 11 years old and I go to Windham Middle School. I'm a 6th grader. I was in the library and this book was on a stand. I'd like to read you a page. My back over my hips as I ask if we should take our clothes off. And he's saying yes before I finish my sentence. He's pulling off my t-shirt, laughing when I can't undo his shirt buttons. He's undoing my belt. I'm reaching into his bedside drawer for a condom. We're kissing. Again, we're rolling over. Obviously, you can see where this is going. I don't know if it's because we're feeling especially emotional or just tired, or these past couple of weeks have been too much. But this reminds me so much of the first time we had sex. We were both fucking terrified, and the whole thing was kind of terrible because we didn't know what we were doing. But it was good too, so good, because we were a mess of emotions and we were scared and excited and everything felt new. So this sort of feels like that. Nick touches me like he's scared that any minute. Now, this book was at my middle school and it was on a stand. When I rented it out to show my dad it, the librarian asked if I wanted more and if I wanted a graphic novel version.
What?
Oh boy. So I'm that kid's father.
Okay, good. I was asking for you.
Yeah, I'll take another 3 minutes. So that's my son.
Okay.
11 years old, and went to his library and found that by the entry door of our library, this is the smut that he is finding. All right. I don't care whether it's gay, straight, bisexual, whatever the terms are for all this stuff, doesn't need to be at our school. It doesn't need to be at my 11-year-old's library. And then as far as genderqueer, I've got a son in the high school as well. And this is bullshit. We know it, all right? We do not need to be having literature that's showing boys how to suck dick, all right? I'm very, very frustrated about it, okay? And you may think that schools know the best for our children. You know who know the best for our children? The parents.
Whoa.
So
wow. Hot take.
I brought this because Confederate asked me a question about like what can we do for our kids? I mean, what about teaching them values instead of teaching them about sexuality, homosexuality, all this stuff? And it's just like these are the parents that are speaking out. Our parents usually can't speak up because they're working 3 jobs, but they have these books at their school. So it's just sickening how things are. This was last month. This article was published yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's just ridiculous how this world is destroying our children mentally. You know,
That's what I said earlier. The schools, it teaches the homosexuality. A lot of things that happen to kids for the first time happen at school or with schoolmate age kids. A lot of times they go, it's older kids all the time. A lot of times introduction to certain things that come through school, the drinking, the drug, some homosexuality, other, because the school shapes and formulates the mind of our kids. It's a system. Why do you think they call it a school system? Can we look? What's the definition of a system? I'm curious.
I will pull it up right now.
Thank you so much.
And
can we look up what school is? Yes, sir.
While the love doctor pulling that up, I can remember growing up in the school system, public school system, and I knew when I had teachers, my teachers most of my teachers had children. You know, they had families, but nowadays, you know, these teachers are making the bare minimum to be required to be teachers, because they claim there's such a shortage on schools for teachers, and you find a lot of the teachers now, there's an uptick with teachers sleeping with the students sleeping with the teachers, and you didn't see that. It was almost unheard of coming up in my day in elementary and what they call middle school, but now you see it all the way from elementary all the way up to the collegiate level, where the students are sleeping with the teachers, and then you see the teachers with these alternative lifestyles, and they're perverts to say the least. When back in the 70s and the 80s, teachers were structured around being homemakers. A male teacher would probably be a coach, and he had a nephew or he had a son, and then you would find teachers, that home ec teachers, that they had children, or the science teacher had a net. But now you find a lot of, you know, just millennials teaching schools that don't have the morals and the fortitude that the people back in my time grew up.
There's the definition.
Oh yeah, the definition for system: a set of things working together as parts of a mechanism or a interconnecting network. The state railroad system is the school system. Now we have a set of principles and procedures according to which something is done, an organized framework or a method. It's the way you have to look at the public school system. It's that's right. It's framework. And this is why, you know, they're against people taking their kids out and homeschool them. But if you look at the homeschool kid, they still make them go back and learn the principle. They realize these are people they learn too, who went through the system and say, you know what, the system is rigged, the system against them. I'm just gonna take them and educate myself. You can, but I'm gonna still send some tests through. I'm gonna make sure that these kids test out to standard, because it's still a method. And I'll work those kids too, and I'll show you in life these kids won't be achievers. That's why I make you fill out paperwork on every job. I need your name. I need your address. I need everything. I need to know what level of education. Put homeschool. I know what we're working with. This allows you to realize where the place set you whether you had college, whether you had degrees, You know what I'm saying? All these things allow them to know where to put you at, because all of these different department levels are framework.
Well, I want to say this. I agree that there's the school system. I agree. I think that there should be a system at home as well. The home should create a system, because that little boy, apparently there was a system at home for him to even see and say, whoa, this is not for me, not to fall into that, and to bring it to his parent and let them know. Because a lot of times kids, they have no foundation and they have no training, and everybody's just doing whatever they want to do. And that's how you get those that fall into those cracks and get, led and to live that way. But
yeah,
I think it was good that the little boy had some sort of system to notice.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It also
to
goes
bring
back
that.
to me. I realized the important significance of having a father in the home. His father gave it up, and he made an impactful statement too. Not only the little boy, but the father made some impactful statements too, and just goes to show again the importance and significance of having a man in the home.
Absolutely. But what Tuli was saying, that system, there are kids that are reading these books and they're enjoying them. They're not saying anything. So, and a lot of things are going through their mind, like, oh, pardon the word, sucking dick. Oh, it's just interesting. So as a child, your brain is developing and you start liking this stuff. And as a teenager, then you become what you read. And then, it's like Tuli says, you have to have a system at home where you're watching everything these kids are reading, what they're watching, because you become those things. So
you got to teach them right or wrong. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. You got to tell them. You can't assume that they know right and wrong. I mean, even adults, we still have to be taught what's right and what's wrong.
If I might chime in just a bit, even when they do these ratings on certain television shows and home movies, even the restriction levels have even devalued themselves. I remember rated R would be considered, if you cursed on it, it would be rated R. But now it's rated PG. Nudity is rated PG now. Rated G is what rated G is actually what rated PG used to be. So I mean, even a rated G friendly supposed to be rated G, supposed to be for general audience. It has homosexual undertones.
Inappropriate. Yep.
I don't know if they even show G. They still use G.
I don't know. I don't even know, man.
So. I don't even. That was thing you had to watch years ago. You be saying when a TV show came on, that thing say PG. I'm telling you what, I remember that thing said rated X. You can. Oh, they be like, oh no.
I grew up in a Christian home. I wasn't allowed to watch nothing like that.
But you don't watch it. You ever
I
watched
grew up in a Christian home.
That's the freak house.
We don't know those secular videos like that. No.
That freak.
That's like
freak house.
Cinemax, HBO After Dark. It was stuff like that. Showtime After Dark. But now this stuff is being played 6 and 7 o'clock in the afternoon. Sesame Street was rated G. But now you have Sesame Street that has homosexuality, transgender characters, and it's supposed to be rated G. So, I mean, like what I said, just because a person has degrees and they have all of these accolades does not mean they have morals and ethics. I mean, we just have to face the reality that, like Ms. Tuli said, that, we have to have structure in our home. And then we can't allow the system to invade our homes and to impede on our homes and what we want to upbring our children and loved ones. I was talking last week about how in some of the school libraries, they were having book reading events, and they were using transgenders to read to the children. And then Kirk Cameron, being an actor, a Christian actor, which, not to say nothing for or against them, he said that they wouldn't even publicize his book that talked about family morals and qualities, but they banned his book, but they let they pushed the queer and the homosexual agenda in the public reading libraries when they have those reading sessions for kids, when they let the kids come in and someone read to them. They had drag queens going in reading for the kids.
Right.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I think Tuli showed a video like that, right? Tuli, you had a video of
They had that going on in the city of Atlanta, doggone what her name, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms was doing that right here in the city of Atlanta.
Oh my goodness.
You have a video right there, right?
A woman with a husband in the house with her kids. That's how sad it is when you let women lead. You can be both people in the home, but the man has to lead.
Correct.
I'm a proponent. Man got to lead. I can't have it no other way.
Facts.
I ain't got no 50-50 for you. I ain't got no 51-49. I got this 100. I gotta keep it down tight.
Love Doctor, please, if you will, pull up Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union's comments on the NAACP award.
All right, I'll definitely do that. Before I do that, really, Joe, you were saying something about a video before he said.
Yeah, Thule sent you a video at 9:45. I believe that's the one with the before the one I sent.
A video. It says 9:45. Okay, I see it. All right, give me 1 second, Federer, for that. Let me pull up this video.
I wanted to see it because I felt
Dr. Joe is requesting real quick. Now I'll go and I'll give me time to search for yours about Dwayne Wade. Okay. All right, so where we at?
That's what you're talking about.
This is you talking about, Dr. Joe?
Yes, I wanted to know what that was. It looked very interesting.
That's a man with a stomach.
Oh, that's the right now. This teacher is on leave, paid leave. You know, we showed that when it first came out. So now that was like months ago. But now this teacher is on paid leave, and the teacher said that those breasts are real. They're not fake. So of course, I mean, you can't tell them prove it. I don't know, but anyway, that teacher's on.
I don't want to know.
My whole thing is like this man, because this is a man, it has this breast showing his nipples in there with this kids, and it's just
In Japan, not appropriate. No female teacher could have wore that. No female teacher could have wore no look like the bottom. So even with your homosexuality, it should still make them dress appropriate. That would depend. I mean, go ahead. You get that, so that's his breast down now, which I doubt. They'd be stupid. Y'all women. There's no way where you carry that much titty and don't break your back. You like a fool. There's no way. I'm saying that's a lot of weight that's constantly pulling on the top of your shoulders and it's gonna be pulling on your back. So I don't believe it.
Yeah. And what happened
coming there with a pair of panties on, you know, what them look like the bottom of a bikini. There's no way he should have been allowed in the school with it on.
No,
that is you could at least got him on that. Told him it ain't about discrimination. It's no female teacher coming to him like that. Because now just open up a door where they can come in. Right. Fight for justice for black trans people in 2000. No, they fight for black trans people. I'm trying to find out what justice do they need.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. Look what they. I mean, we have enough problem in the black and brown community, and here I mean,
what are they doing?
Caption say it all.
The man gotta be gay. He ain't gay. He missed opportunity. It makes no sense. There's no way a straight man had that energy and time.
That's right.
So, Confederate 48, this is the article that you're referring to?
Gabrielle Union leads his own.
That's what look at Gabrielle Union Wade and Dwayne. Why would he be behind her?
Exactly.
There you go. The leader.
What they're trying to show, not only is he for pushing homosexual femininity, he'll push, the feminist movement as well. He will work to defeminize a man. He will also push the feminine movement. The fact that they put this, the writer would know. He'll always write. And me and my wife, they'll say Mr. and Mrs. Henry Smith. They put something if they would do the one name there, or they'll always put the man name in the front. But this here in itself, like I said, this is a system. This is a method of doing things. Now, why can't the woman be before him? And she gets to keep part of her last name. I know somebody, a woman or two that did that. They hyphenate their name with some of their last name with their husband. No, I don't play that stuff. We just won. My wife wants to be Smith. I know, Toss Smith. No, we're not having that. Whatever I am, that's what you're gonna be.
What about the man taking the woman's last name?
That'll never happen. I took my wife's last name. That's why she ain't got no more. I gave her mine.
That's right.
I believe that the man should take the woman's last name. Take it and give her yours. There's no way where you're gonna say until we married, but this her legal dog. This her name. You be actually what you want to be. Your name is changed.
That's equivocal to them saying the woman preacher say she the pastor at home, but she the wife. She the pastor in the church, but she the wife at home.
Yeah, that makes and don't believe it. It
How that
never
work?
happened. You can't be boss in there and then be humble at home. People don't realize you cannot do that. You cannot have a woman in dominant positions with a husband. It's hard for them to come back down to a level of.
Can't turn
You
the
gotta
switch
make up
off.
your mind. You want to be if you want to be a career woman. I know someone. I assure you, if your husband told the truth, if you listen to me, and you're a professional woman, and you do your thing, you over people in charge, your husband has problems with you. He will not admit it because he probably say, "Oh, I don't." Think about it. Your fight is she come home, I gotta submit, I gotta do. But I go here, I tell other people how to do nothing. I come home, I gotta submit, I gotta do. When I go here, I don't have to tell them about doing. I come home, I ain't doing nothing.
That's why I don't ever want to be a
You can't
boss.
transition. You can't do no. You can't do it. No,
I'm okay. I don't ever want a leader position. I'm fine because it does take you somewhere mentally.
It does.
It does.
Listen, a woman could tell herself what she wants to. You're going to clash here.
Facts.
I just left from telling people, and these folks know I'll fight it behind. To come home and I gotta break off, put that all out of the way. What you need, honey? Hey, listen, this that's it. Okay, baby. And then you get. I need you to do. Okay, then. And listen, I need to talk to you. Let's stop. Just stop everything. I need you to listen what I'm telling you. That's not gonna work because she come from him. And here, what I tell people, and I don't have to do, and people do what I tell them to do. Okay, honey, sweetie, that transition is hard. Any man who listens know the truth. I'm telling the truth. Listen, it ain't about making a woman lesser. I think a man should. See, the higher we look at Yahuwah. Yahuwah sets us to all probability expectation. You have your drive, so and the things present itself. He gives you that. You can never cheat. His level is set so high. A man should always be out in the front of and should be further out. Now, people disagree. They want to do it. It's just, I'm just telling you, I'm following the pattern. He told you to keep the ordinances I give you. I have you know that the head of the man is the Mashiach. And the head of the Mashiach is Elohim. The head of the woman is the man that got that. I don't be arguing with Yahuwah. Anybody gonna be arguing with me? I'm not gonna do it. My wife, we're not gonna have it. I can't have it. So I don't want you to get yourself in a position that's gonna mess you up and you ain't gonna be able to make it in. And you're gonna be outside.
Facts.
I got I'm 28 years.
Making money, that's all I can.
28 years. What's the day?
I don't need
10
no
more days. 28 years. Y'all know that. 28 years.
Today?
No, in 10 more days.
No,
10 more days.
It's in June.
All right.
That's right around the corner. Happy early June.
Let me tell you something. We ain't never celebrated an anniversary.
Well, it's always the first time for something.
Oh no, we good. And they break the head.
Y'all ain't never celebrated.
We ain't never done it. We ain't never done it.
I spent time with y'all celebrating 1 year dinner.
I don't know what you talking about, no. I think, no, you know what? I think we go one time.
Yeah, we did 1 year.
We made a folk out there one time.
Yeah, 1 year. I believe 1 year we all. You. I don't want to tell where we was at because I don't say it publicly. But yeah, I remember. I brought y'all couple together.
I don't remember that one. No,
we went to the Fogo. We went to Fogo de Chao over in Sandy Springs.
Went to Fogo. Yeah, so there.
Yep, I was there. Yep, so it was just y'all two, and it was me. I inspired the hall.
Yeah, you showed up after. Because y'all were trying to. I said, hold on for a minute. He could have been. It was us, but I remember he showed up. Yeah, so it was one time. We just went there one time.
Yep, give y'all a little private time to come on. Counsel y'all, and look, y'all still together.
But that doesn't make it right.
Yes, it do. They make it right. Because let me tell you something. There's a lot of things a lot of guys have to do. You gotta go and you gotta put a big, fluff barrage on to try to show you love and try to go get these things. I just stay consistent. She knows she loves. She got a warm bed.
There you go. Every day.
She gotta eat. Listen, she ain't paying for that. She just living. That's a beautiful way. I do. Yeah, she paid. She paid for her stuff. She sneaks and does. And she said he don't need to know about this. So let me sneak $3. I need you to stop spending mine. I've been saying that.
My question is, that I'm saying for us on the outside looking in, is it okay for us to acknowledge and celebrate the anniversary of
Yes,
our?
I don't have no problem. No, if a person do
Oh,
that,
that's what I was
no,
getting
no, no,
at.
no, 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 no. I don't know. Everybody's just different. I know a lot of people. I look at this. A lot of people different. They have to do a lot of different things. She understands where I'm at, how we roll, and how we do things. You know,
Right.
this is how we go. You'll be competing. A lot of time when you do a lot of stuff, you have to compete against. If somebody will tell her, "Oh, my husband did," oh, he, we just do. I mean, just do. We live, learn to love and appreciate, and enjoy the time you got. We different two set of people. We two set different people. We just kind of go. She roll with it, and she's a groovy chick for that. Just roll and we keep moving. Some of them you got to stop every 5 minutes and pick a daisy or something like that. To me, I think it's a waste of time to give flowers. I mean, not saying. I'm telling you why it's gonna die. So to give you that is to tell you my love is that beautiful and that short. I don't get it. It's no existence
for the moment.
But that's what I'm saying. And then that's why you get into stuff with one. Yeah, she bought her
I'm
own
gonna
flowers.
buy you flowers, Tuli.
Let me tell y'all something
I
about
bought
flowers.
her a few times. I'd rather not, you know what I'm saying? Because I just feel this is what I'm getting. These things are cut up to get her somebody to put in a vase, not to grow on to sit here and get them to dump them in the trash. Anything they can grow.
I think they're beautiful.
You can always buy forever roses.
There you go.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I got some on them. How much of those?
Forever roses that don't.
All right,
There's this big bouquet of her. Oh, it's
Nice.
gorgeous.
Oh,
Have you
wait,
got those
wait,
forever
what do you
roses?
know about those forever roses? Are those real roses? Or
Yeah,
they
give me
fake?
one, please.
The real roses that have been preserved to stay forever.
They're gorgeous.
Did you make those?
Oh, wow, man. Who got you those, Tuli?
A friend.
Oh,
I thought you made those.
Girl.
Listen.
Girl.
Tell them
But I'm
thank
sure
you.
she could.
I did.
Tell them I sent them $5 on it. You need something that's gonna keep lasting. If it's gonna be something gonna explain your love, you know what? It's rough, it's rugged, but it's here to stay. It's solid. You can count on it. It is,
I love flowers, and that's why I get them for myself. And I don't slight him for not getting them because I'm able to get them for myself to do that for me. When I go to the store, I'm gonna get me some flowers. I'm gonna have some flowers in my house.
And I go to the store, I'm gonna get me something to eat. I told her before, I said it should have been cornbread. I told her, I wrote her a note one time, I brought her first time. I said, listen, I said it should have been collard green. I couldn't find them, so I gave these flowers. I just wrote a card to her. I said it should have been collard green, but I wound up getting them flowers. She could have them. I put something like that on the card and gave it to her. Because I look at with the collard green, we'd have busted down, put a turkey neck in there, or that turkey neck, boiled it down. We've been sitting back laughing. Collard green just going, had something in our stomach. We look at them flowers. Both of us still hungry.
Wow.
You could eat flowers. Actually, they're edible.
You can actually take them and soak them and drink the water from the roses. See,
hold on. You said edible, Resident Joe?
Yeah. They're
Did you get that from one of them books in that library? Had you been that little book? What have you said now?
I said sunflowers are edible.
Have you been reading them books at that library that little boy was?
No, but when I was little, I grew up eating some
Oh,
flowers.
when she took my flower. Oh, and edible. You know
Dr.
what is
Joe.
Like the hibiscus flowers. That's
Dr.
edible.
Oh, hibiscus. You make tea out of hibiscus.
And you could eat it like raw too.
Yeah. Hibiscus is a little different.
Yeah, when you go to the flower store to buy roses,
Dr.
No,
Joe.
but I'm just saying in general, there's other there's edible.
You're absolutely right. She's absolutely correct. You're right about that. What you said at 48?
I was about to tell Dr. Joe, don't talk your way into a check.
He was supposed to put checks and he didn't, but you have to be honest with yourself, You're
go ahead,
an individual.
How many checks you earned so far tonight, President Joe? Because I know that criminal ain't putting no check up there. Did you earn any checks tonight on him?
I've been behaving so well tonight.
What about the check? Did you earn the check?
Not yet.
She said, I've been behaving so well. That means please don't give me no check. How many checks do you have though? No change.
I think I have like 7 so far.
Goodness. 7 checks.
Because
Right.
I be
That's
getting
right.
checks just because I'm sitting there.
Then Chris get you a check.
Arbitrarily, huh?
Then her and Chris got into it, and they got you a check.
I feel like I'm back in high school. I don't say anything and I get in trouble.
They just get in trouble. Oh, some people think really been. I know Rod looked like my name on the board. I'm a school teacher, but I can't be on the board. Think about you get their school teachers and their name on the board with a check.
That's tight.
They probably tell their kids, if I put your name on this board in the check, you in
Where we
trouble.
go?
Huh?
Love Doctor. You have something
Oh.
else you want to share? The other video, please.
Which one? The one that was emailed or the other one you sent in the private chat?
Wait, no, I don't
You
know.
sent me
One
about
with
5
the-
links for videos.
Mm.
Which one you referring to?
Click them and see which one she want.
It has to be in the email. It's not here.
Maybe the one at email.
The one you sent in the email. All righty.
65.
I will grab that one. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what this is about, but let's play it.
This is on the main display aisle. Okay, this is what I see first. This is at Walmart, y'all. This is real life. This is your Kuth, Wisdom Simone, real life. This is what's on Walmart shelves. Real life. Real life. This
What would
is
that
displayed.
do?
This is obviously targeted toward children. Real life.
Wow.
What the flank is going on in Walmart? This is real life. I'm gonna turn all this junk down. What in the world? This is the display that it's on.
I would have moved.
This ain't Walmart now.
That's it. That's it.
With
For
the
your
Mickey
kids
Mouse.
to just be like, "Oh, look, I want this. Ooh, what's this?"
Right there, they level to
Then the
left.
back, bold as day. Look what it say in bold. This is what Walmart got going.
Whoa! Wow,
He's a
that's my
boy,
first
means
time
boy.
watching that video. Oh wow!
Me too. And that's the truth. Like somebody would know
Wow.
who saw this.
Again, you saw it. They weren't at the top. They were down at the bottom where they can reach it.
The little ones.
Right. The
And
placement.
some of them say at least it's inspiring them to read.
Good eye. There was another
Yeah.
video went on. But yes, that's yeah.
So that wasn't the video you was talking about. Well, you sent me. I got 4 more other links.
All right, well, let me see what's
Which
mine
other
is.
link? You just need to click on random ones.
5-year-old.
I haven't watched any of the videos, so I don't know what any of them about until I
The
click
link
on
is-
them. So give me a minute. Let me click
see
on them
if
and
they're
watch
charging.
them, and I'll see if I can find the one that you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if we don't make a change, the world will wind up changing us. They see the world changing because we won't change.
Right.
If we don't change, you can't expect the world to change.
Well, you know one thing, as you always say, that's the purpose for two mics in the mind.
Yeah.
Sit down and talk about how we can make change. And
That's
change
it, man.
starts individually, and then collectively it spreads abroad. So
That's it. Everybody getting that energy, getting ready tomorrow. We're gonna put a different energy out. Every day, everybody listening, you in charge of putting out an energy to change things. Energy is important. Look at your house. Cut all the light. You know, people don't even understand. If you cut the lights off your house, it's still energy flowing, just at a lower rate.
right.
You cut it off at the box, the house is dead. People are dead because we gotta cut it. We gotta cut the switch on. We gotta put this energy out here so we can get our people a better spot. Okay, here we go.
This the one you're referring to, Thule?
No,
You said the girl is 5 years old?
I said 65.
Oh,
I know
65 years old.
Yeah, that girl there, that was her last day on earth, probably.
That's
But
what
that's
it looked like.
information, though. I would like to talk about that, but maybe not this week.
You'll see how we get.
Speaking of energy, y'all use y'all energy to push that cash out button. Hit that
That's
like,
right.
hit that subscription, hit that share,
Yeah, that's it. Y'all go ahead and hit it now.
and hit that subscribe.
Go ahead and do it.
Thank you.
There's one link that you sent to it doesn't work. I don't know if maybe that's the one that you're referring to.
No, this
It
one
won't
should
allow
work.
me to open it. Whenever I click on it, it won't open anything.
Oh, I think I know what video she's talking about.
The one, okay. Let me see if I can do it this way. That one should. I don't know why you would have a problem with that one. That one.
When I click on the link, it takes me to a page. Okay, it says error or something like that.
Ooh.
Who that?
And the other one that you sent me is about. Well, I guess you know what the other one you sent me about, but it's not 65 years old. It's about a $50 bill.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, it say $50 bill. You talking about 65? How would I know? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, let's take it. Let's talk about a $50 bill. Here we go.
Come on.
I saw a $50 bill on the floor. And I told the cashier, I said, look at him, my lucky day.
That's when she says the cashier tells Miss Smith the cash might belong to a friend of theirs and demanded her to leave it there. She was the only customer in the store. As Miss Smith tried to leave with it, video shows her being stopped by 3 of the store employees. One of them rips the money out of her hands. She's then shoved and restrained.
And I was especially scared of the one in the pink. I mean, because she had me around my neck and was she strong. And she was all in my ear. You black, you're not getting out of here.
By now, she's called her granddaughter, who jumped out of her shower to come and help. That's worse.
The police officer came, one of the girls slid out of the door, but she slid out and she stood in front. Reached around her and I said, get out in front of the door, let her out of here.
Destiny, seen in her bathrobe, gets handcuffed by the responding deputy. He also later arrests Destiny's mother, who showed up minutes later and was charged with assaulting one of the clerks. The family says the deputy never took statements from them or tried to de-escalate the matter. The store owner has tried to rectify the situation, offering to pay her daughter's bail, even giving her the $50. She declined those offers.
I feel like one thing quiet down there, it's the same thing was when we happened to me again.
All 3 of the clerks are fired, but the family wants them arrested.
Why would they do this to her? Why would they think it was okay to take it that far? Like every thought process in that, from locking her in there, assaulting her, the words they use, the racial slurs, I just would want to know why.
I spoke with Sheriff Jack Brandes, who says statements, video, and even body cam footage have been forwarded to their county DA's office for consideration of potential charges against these former store employees. The store manager also spoke to me. He says they terminated those involved immediately and does not condone the way they acted there. Caroline?
Wow.
Well,
Well, there you have it.
what does she handle? I mean, in her mind, what did she really handle? You know, she didn't like she would handle a human being. So I mean, that's again, people we don't think, we just move to action.
So, so let's look at this perspective, and I'm glad Miss Tooley brought this video up. So I was taught about being a human, as well as those people that apparently assaulted the lady, right? So the way that I was brought up,
Hit your mic. Your 2 mics on a mind sign jumping. You cough so hard. You were doing it for me. I know he had to mess on himself. In no way. I ain't trying to hold that thing. He said,
Oh man.
What is wrong with that man? Just, oh my goodness. Man, that nigga went caught and killed him. He did it. I said, he done messed up. I said, I'm sorry, how they gonna go. I like, it's another one coming because he couldn't clear it, but he tried to hold on to it. You ever get that? Man, look here, man. Get you some Depends.
He's been sick for a long time now, right?
Yeah, he been taking that last little call, that linger, boy. And he tried. He said, I said, let me be good. But he did another time. Get him out. I said, yeah, man. He definitely marked the draws up tonight. Listen, you did well. Doc, you had on a long time. But you know what? In reality, I believe them. This is what's bad. What I believe for watching that, just being honest.
Yes.
I believe that money did belong to somebody who had just left out that she knew. And when she looked at the lady when give it to her, she went outside of consciousness to where that made no sense. And now since you grabbed, now you let something else out. Now it moved from, I'm trying to get, I know for a fact the person before them just dropped this. If I know this. And I'm thinking she knew that because it's a lot to do. If it's racial, you ain't got to bring the $50 in it. But they were trying to get the $50. And I don't think it was just me taking the $50 from her. I think I know who this belonged to. And now I moved too far and I went too far, and now it's gonna turn more to it was racist. Would she have done that to a white person? I don't know, but I want to be to a point of realizing certain actions that people take, it's a certain belief you have. It's one thing if I want to try to play you, man, that fell out my register. I was handling a customer that fit, but I'm telling you that belong to my. I know it, and I take you to the door, won't let you out, and I grab you to get. I think she really knew it. It's just bad if she used those words to go with it, because now it changed the whole dynamic to white people trying to get black people. Other people could have possibly got involved because she could say, "Hey, this lady stole $50," and these people jumped in thinking we protecting the store interest. I'm taking you on your word. I don't think hey, help me. My friend $50, who I think she said she found, that's too much explaining. I think you shot out your mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, she trying to steal. You see what I'm saying? These people jump in, I'm helping the store out. And this went now, since it's 3 whites, this will decide you to poor choice of word. Very disrespectful. It put it in now where it's gone racist versus you just a stupid young lady, because that should have been handled differently. You know what I'm saying? This is where we got to look at this. We condemn, but we got to correct. If we don't correct, the condemnation ain't gonna do no good, because you don't have people that gonna still keep doing it, because she won't see nothing wrong with what she done.
Right.
We really have to do this is where we at. We can all agree the world is just totally it's rotten to the core. It is. But at some point we got to start teaching. Like I say, each one, reach one, teach one. Think that's kind of it's too many people. But if everybody got on page tomorrow, I'm gonna ask everybody listening. I want you to be responsible for projecting some type of form of positive energy. Especially something negative come. We're gonna promote positive. That's how we're gonna do it. And maybe that'll spark somebody who mind might say, the next person cut in front of me, I'm gonna kill them. The next person, you know what I'm saying, that does this to me, and accidentally it could be you, but it's been a compoundment of other things. And then you the recipient of some bad or some negative, like the people in New York with the all black store and the white guy. His negative energy wound up affecting some positive people who were doing what? What were they doing? Stripping, raping kids. They were getting groceries. They were working. So it's everybody's responsibility to go and project some form of positive energy. I'm looking for y'all to do that. That's what I want to hear about. What did I do differently? I want you. Let's start with a day. We ain't gonna push the whole week yet. Your mind not there. Let's just do tomorrow. Get through tomorrow. We see how this goes. Let's repeat the same action.
It's a good challenge. Awesome challenge. I was talking about the human side. As my grandmother, she taught us to treat people as human. HUMAN. Our counterparts, however, some of them, not all of them, they treat us as HUEMAN, human, meaning the darker the hue, the less human you actually are. So there's a difference between the
human and human
definition of a human for what we look at to what any racist or any bigot would look at a human being as being, not a HUMAN, but a HUEMAN.
They'll call humane putting something down. They'll say you just got to do it humanely. So these people have a lot of conversations with things they do. That's how they do that. That's how we euthanize them, And it's still, whether you shoot them with a gun or with a needle, it's still death. You kind of part of it. So there are ways that they try to cover, disguise things under their, coded words. That's why we got to start at the elementary, the educational system as a whole, and look at how we got to go back and kind of reframe them by taking them down and reconstructing them and give them the purpose that, you know, we the parents. Because there's no way in the world a majority of parents want schools to teach their kids about homosexual sex or either heterosexual. All you want to do is teach them the organs, teach them the organs are capable of, how things work, you know, and you know the building makeup of a woman, the building makeup of a man. You want them to understand themselves because a man needs to know about himself. A woman needs to know about herself, hygiene, other things, how other things are created, how body is excreting, you know, waters and other odors are different, how that works. So these are things so you can take protective measures to keep your body from over perspiring or other things you need, with odor sense and other things, understand development and how certain things what are good or fitting for you in your body, what allows the body to breathe, what more or less traps and it keeps heat. All these things you know about yourself because you are who you are. We just got to change and we got to start dealing with the inside of ourselves. We got to fix it. Positive energy is what we push in tomorrow. That man coughed so hard, he is on a whole nother turtleneck. No, that's not the same one. Look at the wall. That's a different. That man messed him a new sweater.
Same turtleneck, buddy.
What happened there? Turn here.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's really hilarious.
Now look at ask Resident Joe why she laughing. Why were you laughing?
Peer pressure.
That's not peer pressure. She might have what you can picture him turtle head every time you call.
No, it wasn't no turtle head at all. It's a turtleneck.
Yeah, I'm saying, you know what come out of turtleneck? The turtle head. What come out the turtleneck?
It's my quiet storm voice now. Yeah.
Oh, I hear it too. That sound like that. I done messed it voice. I done messed it. Tell the head. Hey, listen, we appreciate y'all guys every week coming in, allowing us to come in your homes, in your hearing, and sharing that space with you that, you know, you just want to get back and relax, but you do it with us. And we do it with you because we can. If anybody asks you, do you mind? You tell them you always mind. Every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. right here on Two Mics and None. Nobody else told you they love you. Hey, we love you. Our language is called hard. Truly, love Dr. Resident Joe. Sorry about who missing. Take us home.
Yeah.
So he had an obligation tonight.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Who's going first? Oh, this out the dome now. We got Resident Joe. Out the dome.
Go ahead, girl. Throw it out there, girl.
Empty up your cup so you can fill it up and cleanse it first.
You say pee in the cup.
Empty up your cup, cleanse it so you can fill it up with positive.
How many gummies is that? How many?
None. I was trying to bring the message to a quote, but it didn't. The message was there, but the quote did not.
Hey, go ahead, Tony. What you got, buddy?
Well, you know what? I tell her, I like, listen.
I wrote down one.
Oh, she wrote. Oh, they get two to write down.
Go ahead. I gotta find it. Go ahead.
No, Tony. Go ahead.
Don't do that.
Red, white, and blue. It don't matter. We still love you.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That could be a shirt.
Yeah.
It can be one.
I like that. I like that. Go ahead. Y'all doing better. Y'all doing better and better this week.
All right, what you got?
Mine
Your
is
turn.
Because I got this and I was thinking about it. I don't like to read.
Well, okay.
I can see it in your glass.
Mine is he who does not read has no advantage over he who cannot read. Bam! Woo! Think about that.
You read that.
It's right in your sunglasses. I can see it.
Yeah, you sell your sunglasses. We can see what you see your computer. You were looking to write it. You know your glasses lighting up and showing your screen.
Future so bright, I gotta wear shades.
Your future so sled. You gotta have turn here.
That looks so.
Okay.
This is red.
I can't find my
All right, what you got now?
I can't find my, but I will leave y'all with this.
Okay.
If you see someone without a smile tomorrow, give them yours.
That's Barb. Don't even. We already know that's you.
If you see someone
we done heard that before. We done heard that before.
tomorrow, give them yours.
Call the police.
Oh, I got. Oh, okay. Smile, so they can smile.
What, Jordan? I know you did. What?
No, she said she got it so they could smile.
Yeah, I got it because I didn't understand it.
She said, what? What is it? That's not her. That's why. She didn't write. That's old. That's been said before.
What did I say before I started?
No,
I don't
been
find the one I wrote down. I must
Yeah,
have
you
wrote
had it. So you had it. Yeah, if you don't,
That's doing the
if you
show,
find
Tula. It's
somebody
right here.
who
It's
don't
hard.
have
We
a
make it look easy, but it's hard, Tula. You got to be prepared next time. You got to be more prepared.
Instead of trying to write up and make up something.
I tell you what, now we're going to give you one more week. Next week, you had to come with it. Don't be talking about you lost your paper. Next week, bring that thunder.
Let me think of something then.
Uh-oh.
Watch out for banana peels because they'll make you slip.
All right, we'll take that. We'll take that. We'll take that. We'll take that. We'll definitely take that.
Must have been wild out for that story you told. Cause I got a banana peel. I think you slipped in that one again. I just haven't had banana slip. You must have slipped before you came up with that one. So we'll give you another one.
That was
good.
good.
You did awesome. You did awesome too. You did awesome. I appreciate that. You did awesome. You just
While
go
you out
ahead,
there
you just
messing
keep doing
around,
that.
believe this. Don't get condemned, get condoned.
Yeah. Thank y'all for watching Two Mics and a
Just came
Mind.
on way and fit it.
Hope
Just
y'all
save
enjoyed
it. We'll use it
yourself.
another time.
Julie, Tony, Resident Joe. Y'all enjoy yourself. Y'all ready? Woo!
We're about to take it. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most essential radio show on the web. This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. Dr. Joe's therapy on the radio. The love got me going live on the radio. Two mics and a mind on the
All right, you do something
Yeah,
better.
we did.
I'll do better, and we'll be better together. Until next week.
Positive energy. Positive energy. And watch out for turn here.
You know what's that?
This right here is a candle lighter.
Oh,
It sends electricity through the light a candle. That's how we doing it. 2023. Everybody, we doing electric candle lighters. That's how we doing. Yeah, yo.
Light it up. We'll see it.
Yeah, Tula.
Oh, that's a crack pipe all day. Light up. Oh, he been burning the screen out. You getting lower and
Actually, I
lower.
done ran out of candle wax. I done burnt this all the way down. This is a coconut shell candle. I done ran it all the way down. See, ain't no more.
That's terrible. Well, we
Oh,
appreciate
yeah.
that coconut.
Yeah.
And we
Now, how
never
you
see that
doing?
coconut.
Good night, Tula.
And we'll holler.
Yeah.
We'll holler, y'all.
Y'all.
y'all.